We have a reading from the fracture zone. The report dropped into the council chamber like a coin into water quiet, small, and immediately ignored. Chancellor Revek waved it off. Human patrol again? No, Chancellor, the envoy replied, her voice sharper now. This isn't a patrol ship. Revek raised one brow. A colony freighter, then? The envoy blinked once. No, it's something else. The projection ignited in the center of the chamber. Jagged hull lines, abnormal structure density, heat core off the scale. The hull shimmered black with silver pulse rings across its midsection. No name, no insignia. No active comms, but unmistakably Terran. The chamber stirred. This can't be human, said the Vixari representative. It's too large. They don't build ships like this, muttered a Tholvec general. It's not in their doctrine. But it was. That was the problem. The scans didn't lie. It was human. And it had just appeared within contested space. No warning. No signal. Just presence. The council made their next mistake. They laughed. Likely a bluff, said Revek, smirking. A Terran display. A relic. Perhaps something automated set to scare fools on the frontier. We'll send a formation, said the Korath admiral beside him. Standard strength. 6 war cruisers, 4 scout tethers, no dreadnoughts. Show of power. If it blinks, we'll blink harder. And so they did. The fleet arrived 22 minutes later, and 4 minutes after that, it was gone, not destroyed. Not vaporized. Erased. There was no battle. No exchange of fire. No SOS. Just. Signal loss. 17 ships. Vanished. Only 1 transmission. Survived a partial video log from a scout tether. It showed the Terran. Warship. Not moving. Not glowing. Just hovering. Then a flash. Not light. Not sound. A concept. Something broadcast directly into the minds of the crew. Not a language. A feeling. Dread. Primordial. Rooted. Ancient. Like something your blood remembered before your brain understood. The final frame of the log showed the ship's designation burned across its hull, jagged and scorched like it had been carved with fire. Kalan Omen. Back in the chamber. The council watched the clip on repeat. Silent. Unmoving. Even Revek didn't speak. Finally, the Vexari delegate croaked. That's not a name. It's a prophecy, whispered the envoy. No. Revek muttered, pale now. It's a promise. A second reading came in. Another ship. Same make. Same hull composition. Different name. Saul's debt. Then another, Gravedigger. And another, the kind reminder. They weren't a fleet. They were a statement. Earth didn't send its navy. It sent examples. Revek turned sharply. Send a diplomat. To say what? A general asked. That we didn't mean it. Didn't. Mean what? Revek didn't answer, because he didn't know. He just felt it now, what the fleet had felt. This wasn't escalation. This wasn't posturing. This was the result. And Earth was done talking. On board the battleship Omen, Captain May Ilian sat at the center of the bridge. She wore no medals, no traditional rank. Her crew didn't salute her, because she didn't command like a ruler. She guided like an Kurumfiu. Executioner.com. Unwavering. Focus. Double quotes fleet report. She asked. An I voice answered soft, almost bored. Enemy strength. Moderate. Tactical relevance. None. She didn't nod. Didn't smile. Just tapped her console. The ship responded instantly. Outside. The hull of the Omen shifted, plating realigning like scales. Revealing its inner shell, there were no weapons visible, because the ship was the Federal Simpson. Weapon. It didn't fire. It remembered. That's what humans had built. A ship that carried memory like fuel when it got close enough. The enemy didn't see missiles. They saw their own fears played back in perfect, crippling detail. The Omen didn't kill with lasers. It killed with reminders. That's why the fleet never fired. They forgot how. Next approach vector, May said. Calmly. The AI responded. Council blockade at Luria 17, permission to display? She stared out the dark glass VIEWPOR to then spoke 2 words. Show them. Back in the council war chamber, another report hit the table like thunder. This time, no one spoke. They just watched as Luria 17 went silent, not destroyed, just offline. Its satellite stopped transmitting. Its defense grid disengaged. Its citizens? Alive. But changed. They spoke of a moment, 1 second, no more, when the sky above them turned black, and whispered something they couldn't remember. Not in words. In feeling. As if the planet itself had blinked and saw something staring back. After that, no one on Luria 17 would fight again. Not out of mercy, out of something much colder. Understanding. And across the galaxy, the words began to spread like fire. When Earth's battleship showed up, the galaxy finally understood. Fear. And that was before Earth even responded. The strange thing was nothing was being destroyed. No planetary bombardments. No orbital strikes. No mass civilian deaths. And yet, systems were falling. In a single Terran day, 9 star systems that once supported the Council declared non-alignment by necessity. Not surrender. Just refusal to participate, because they'd seen them, not even up close, just on long-range scans, across sensor fuzz, caught as flickers on relay echoes. The names alone had been enough. Omen, Gravedigger, Saul's, Det, Final Echo, the kind reminder. The vessel that waited. No fleet had announced them. No press release followed their arrival. But one thing was clear. They weren't bluffing, and they didn't explain themselves. They just showed up. And fear took care of the rest. In the Threxery Wargate, a classified conversation unfolded between 2 of the most powerful military minds in the Quadrant, General Salak of the Coalition and High Admiral Jukal of the Avanti. It doesn't make sense, Solak hissed, pacing across a hologrid. Of the warfront, we've seen no offensive action, no hull-based assaults, and yet territory's evaporating. Territory isn't being taken, Jukal corrected, voice gravel through his breathing apparatus. It's being returned. Solak paused. To who? Jukal turned slowly. That's what terrifies me. Earth isn't claiming ownership. They just stand there. And the moment you even think about raising weapons, your fleet forgets why it ever trusted you. He zoomed in on a section labeled Vicari Drift. The data trail showed 200 defense drones self-deactivating in perfect sync. No override. No known hack. They'd simply stopped. Next to them, a Terran ship. The kind reminder, a ship whose specs didn't exist. Ship that should not have been able to function in the drift's magnetic hell zone. And yet there it was, hovering like it was made of the space around it. Watching. We're dealing with something beyond combat, Jukal muttered. Solak swallowed hard. Then how do we respond? Jukal didn't answer, because there was no playbook for this. Back on Earth, Commander May Ilian stood before the observation sphere inside Omen's forward chamber. The room was cold, always. No screens, no chairs, just a floor of translucent alloy. Beneath her boots and the sky of warless stars above. She spoke softly. They still think we're here to fight. Behind her, the ship's eye hummed. Fear is louder than war. She gave a small nod. Then closed her eyes. Where's Gravedigger? Arrived at Core Line 7. Awaiting signal. No contact made. Reaction from local forces? 4 planets. Shut down defense arrays voluntarily. 1 requested asylum. None challenged approach. Send them a message. Which kind? She exhaled. Then turned back toward the bridge. Just remind them. The AI pulsed, then went silent, and somewhere across space, a ship shaped like a grave marker blinked once and simply hovered. No attack. No sound. Just the quiet, and that was always enough. The Galactic Council called for an emergency session, but half the delegates didn't show up. Some had fled, others had disconnected entirely from the shared quantum net, and some were simply done playing politics in a game Earth had already ended. Chancellor Vex stood anyway. "We will not surrender," he barked, voice cracking through the broadcast. "Let the humans know we will not cower before shadow tactics and psychological fear." No response. Then seconds later, a blinking feed appeared above the chamber. It was RYVEK. Speaking. But not now. From 2 years ago. Hidden recording. 1. In which he mocked Earth's scientific stagnation, laughed about letting the primitives burn, and recommended using economic blockades to starve the frontier colonies. The chamber fell dead silent. He froze. No, this isn't real. That's been another feed cut in. This time from a Council warcruiser orbiting JULLIN-6. Admiral Rek. Screaming. Not from pain. From memories. They're in our heads. They know what we thought we'd buried. It's not hacking, it's reminding. They're showing us ourselves. The feed ended with static. Vex sat down. Shaking. He didn't speak again. Not for the rest of his life. Earth sent one official message that week. Just one. A short transmission, no encryption. Public. It said, "We do not fire first, but we are very good at ending things. Terran Naval Doctrine, silent arm no." 3 below, it was a list of coordinates. 16 in total. Every system that had once signed the original embargo against Earth. No threats. No ships seen yet. Just a list. The galaxy held its breath, because Earth wasn't declaring war. It was cataloging sins. And one by one, the guilty systems began to switch sides. No gunfire. No loss of life. Just governments releasing public apologies, unsealing archives, begging for neutrality, and Earth didn't answer. They just let the galaxy watch itself fall apart. Far beyond the Council's reach. In the cold outskirts of the Viros halo, a solitary alien explorer found himself staring at a Terran satellite. It didn't broadcast, didn't scan. Just blinked a single light every 43 seconds. He didn't touch it, didn't approach. He just sat there. Staring. Because for the first time in his species' history, one built on fearlessness, he understood what it meant to be afraid of something that didn't need to move. He turned off his engine. Drifted. And whispered to no one. They didn't need to speak. They just needed to show up. And across the stars, one phrase echoed again. They thought it was mercy. It wasn't. The final echo appeared at the edge of Sector 19G without propulsion flare, without comms, without trajectory logs. It was just their black hull. Angular silhouette. Emissionless. And waiting. Its presence was recorded first by a civilian trade buoy. That buoy transmitted one corrupted image of the ship. Not damaged. Scrambled. The image came out inverted. Not flipped, not mirrored, phased, as if the vessel occupied a space the camera wasn't authorized to record. The crew who viewed the frame experienced nausea, elevated heart rate, and in one case, spontaneous short-term amnesia. The trade buoy self-deactivated shortly after. The Council declared it a distortion weapon, unacceptable, which meant they would respond. Fleet of 35 warships was scrambled. 9 species represented. 6 admirals. Every one of them knew this was the most powerful strike force the Quadrant had ever assembled. It had to be, because it wasn't about winning anymore. It was about proving Earth could be resisted. They jumped in system with engines hot and orders clear. Find the final echo. Destroy it. Broadcast the wreckage to every major channel. The morale of the galaxy was riding on it. They found the ship in under 2 minutes, hovering alone. Not hiding. As if it had waited for them. Lock all weapons. Admiral Krylos ordered. Should we hail it? Asked a technician. He stared through the VIEWPORT. And whispered, no. If it wanted to speak, we'd already be hearing it. The fleet aligned. Warships formed their pattern. Cannons charged. Fighters prepped for launch. On the bridge of the final echo, no one moved, because there was no bridge. No crew. The ship was autonomous. An ancient. Built not for speed, not for range, but for presence. For moments like this. Back on the lead cruiser, Krylos raised his hand, froze, because something was wrong. His hand wouldn't move. His voice wouldn't rise. He looked to his officers, each of them locked in place. Not paralyzed, but stalled. Their thoughts were moving, but their bodies had paused. And every ship in the fleet received the same message across their HUDs. It was not in text. It was a countdown. 10 seconds. No data. No sound. Just the number. Panic rippled through. The ship's tactical A's broke formation. Tried to override control. They couldn't. Security. Protocols looped. Escape pods sealed themselves. Crew tried to shut down systems. Nothing responded. Engine cores began powering down. Not exploded. Just silenced. The ships aligned not by command, but by force they couldn't feel. Krylos finally screamed, but no one heard it. The comms were already gone. Single word blinked across every display. Remember. The countdown stopped. No explosion. No EMP. No death. Just absence. The fleet still existed. Still intact. Still there. But no logs. Remained. No targeting data. No mission records. Not a single soul aboard could remember why they'd come. Admirals blinked. In confusion, pilots stared at their hands. The fleet hung in space like a forgotten dream, and the final echo? It was already gone. Back at Council HQ, only one line was received from the fleet before the blackout. They didn't fire. And we still lost. Panic erupted. This is psychological warfare, screamed a delegate. No, it's existential warfare, whispered another. They're not dismantling our ships. They're dismantling our meaning. One admiral tried to defect. Another collapsed mid-sentence. 2 planetary governors issued emergency neutrality declarations in a matter of hours. 1. Species Zilari requested formal human protectorate status. They wanted Earth to own them, because being forgotten felt worse. On Earth, inside the silent Fleet Operations Core, May Ilian read the mission report from Final Echo. No kill count. No trophies. Just 3 words. Objective, successfully remembered. She closed the file, turned to her second. They still think this is about winning. She murmured. Her second, a woman who hadn't spoken in hours, finally did. What is it about? May didn't blink. It's about never letting them forget. What happens when they mistake our silence for surrender? Far beyond the galactic core, in a small planetary archive, a child read a book banned 50 years ago. The title, The Day the Galaxy Learned to Fear Earth. She looked up at her grandfather. Did they really have ships that didn't fire? He smiled gently. They didn't need to. Why not? He looked at the stars, then back to her. Because by the time the ships arrived, the war was already over. They called it Operation Citadel, one last gamble. The last 100 ships the Council had not lost, not defected, not had erased by Terran silence. They gathered them all. The plan was simple. Send them to the edge of Earth's claimed border. Not cross it. Not fire. Just stand there. Show strength. Prove Earth didn't control fear, only exploited it. High Admiral Vex took command of the force from the colossal flagship. Authorities' reach. It spanned 8 kilometers, powered by a Black Star core, armed with enough ordnance to fracture. Moons. He addressed the fleet on open broadcast. We've allowed myth to take hold. Today, we remind the galaxy what true force looks like. Earth hides behind phantoms. We'll pull them into the light. His words were met with cautious silence. Some commanders nodded. Others didn't, but they moved. The fleet crossed into Terran-adjacent space. They waited. No warning. No scan ping. No signal. For 5 hours, nothing. See? Vex said. Cowards. Then came the change. One ship, only one, blinked into existence. Not a fleet. Not an armada. Just a single vessel. Human. Small. Old. Unarmed. Had no registry. No name on its hull. Its lights were off. It drifted. And every ship that locked sensors on it lost navigation immediately. Data flickered. Coordinates warped. Timestamps unsensed. Some thought their own systems were failing. Others saw it clearly. The small ship wasn't disrupting tech. It was disrupting perception. The moment a ship noticed it, that ship forgot what it was doing. Is this a new weapon? Vex barked. His officers didn't respond. One by one, their screens flickered to static. Their audio to silence. Then a low tone hummed through every speaker in the fleet. Just one. A human voice. Mail. Calm. Measured. You're not here to fight. You're here to be remembered. Vex slammed his fist into the console. Prepare all batteries. Lock targets. No one moved because no one could remember what they were targeting. Some officers tried to speak, but every sentence came out wrong. I have no weight. The ship is what was I? Others began muttering old phrases, nursery rhymes, bits of code, fragments of memory. It was breaking them. The human voice returned, still gentle, still patient. You thought fear came from fire, from force. But fear comes from knowing we don't have to burn you. We can make you walk away. Then the transmission cut out. The ship vanished, and the entire fleet? It powered down. Not from damage. From choice. Every ship. Every captain. Every engine. Stopped. On the authorities' reach. Vex looked around. His crew had already removed their headsets. Weapons officers were crying. The AI had initiated a soft shutdown. He stood, trembling, then whispered, "Why didn't they kill us?" A voice answered him from nowhere. Not broadcast. From within. Because you'll spread the story better alive. The retreat was quiet. There was no order. No defeat ceremony. No council press release. The ship simply drifted away. And across the galaxy. Everyone understood. It was over. There would be no counterattack. No second attempt. Because Earth hadn't fought back. It had only reminded them of what it could be, if it ever did. And that was worse. Back on Earth. May Ilian stood aboard the Omen, hands behind her back as the report flowed through her display. No casualties. No weapons discharged. No violations. Just silence. They'll never return, said her AI. May nodded once. They'll never forget. Was that the objective? She thought about it. Then looked out the viewport, where stars stretched like quiet scars across the dark. No, the objective was to avoid doing worse. Worse? If we had fought them, May said slowly, they'd have monuments. Martyrs. They'd claim courage. She stepped forward. But now, all they have is memory. In the old council chambers, the flags were gone, the lights dimmed, the air stale. One final meeting was held. Off record. Not to retaliate. To concede. But no one called it surrender. They just called it stability, because to say surrender would mean Earth had one. And they couldn't live with that. So they changed the words. called it coexistence. As if that had always been the plan. As if they hadn't tried to threaten the one planet that never asked to be followed. Years later, in a school deep within a colony that used to fly council colors, a child raised her hand. "Teacher, why don't we ever go near Earth?" The room went still. The teacher smiled softly, then walked to the window and pointed to the stars. "Do you see that sector?" The girl nodded. "There are no borders there, no fleets, no warnings." "Why not?" The teacher looked at her and said the line every generation passed to the next, because when Earth's battleship showed up, the galaxy finally understood fear.